Hi all. Now we are going to discuss about food preservation. Before that, little rewind about what we have discussed last week. That we have discussed about microorganism, how these microorganisms are helpful to us, how they are harmful to us, and we have discussed that some of the microorganisms are responsible for the food spoilage. That means it will spoil the food if it is not protected properly or conserved properly. So in this class, we are going to discuss about how these foods are preserved so that the action of microorganism we can reduce it. We can't say that it is no, but we can reduce its action. So traditionally there are a lot of methods they are used by which we can reduce the action of microorganism, and these are the few examples that is given. And why this food preservation is important, because nowadays the whatever the food which is produced in different corners of the world, it is available in all the markets all over the world. So if you want to transport a food from one place to another, we have to store it properly. One thing is that it should not destroyed by any microorganism. Same way the nutrient content whatever it is inside that, it should be maintained, because India is the largest exporter for bananas, second largest in bananas, and the maximum food that we export from here is seafoods. So seafoods are highly perishable. That means if you don't store it properly, it will perish within days, not even days, within hours, many of them, because their flesh is very soft. So many of the seafoods what we get in India, we will get in different corners of the world. Maybe 10 hours, 15 hours by flight when we travel, there also we will get it. So how they are exporting this? For this exporting purpose, food preservation, to preserve it is very, very important. So we will discuss about some of the methods, how the traditionally and in the modern way, how they are preserving the food. The first one, that is preservation with salt and sugar. This is one of the most traditional and the common method that is followed all over the world, not in India, almost all over the world it is followed. Because salt is such a content with the ancestors are from the Egyptian time itself. They found out that it is having some antimicrobial activity. So if there is, for example, whenever they catch a fish, first they will dry it out, then they will mix with the salt and they will preserve it for a longer time. And next one is sugar. And nowadays in our market we are having many materials like jam, squashes. Even though it is having some chemical content inside that, the sugar can extend, or sugar can protect that particular liquid for or syrup for a little duration of time, apart from the chemicals what they are added. So this is one of the most common traditional method what they are used. Apart from that, honey is also used. Apart from this salt, sugar, honey is also used as a preservative. Number two, that is oil and vinegar, and it is very common in India. When we are making pickles, we will use oil and vinegar inside that. That means whenever we are making this pickles, we will add little amount of oil more inside that particular storing container, so that the oil will not allow the air to come in contact with that particular food material. So on the surface of the oil, organisms can't grow. Same way, vinegar also do the same thing. Number three, preservation by heat and cold preservation. Cold, that means we can preserve the food by heat and cold method also. That means if we heat, for example, when you see that some of the food products, they say that we have to have in this particular temperature, it should not be heated, it should not be cold. And the same way, there are some food products are there which should be, if we want to preserve it for a longer time, we have to keep this inside a cold condition. For example, vegetables, whatever we are getting, we store inside the refrigerator for some times, so that the food will not perish and the nutrient content will also be preserved for a longer period of time. Not longer period of time, at least for 2 to 3 days, maximum of 1 week. It depends upon the environmental conditions. And there is one question is coming. What about the milk? Because milk is highly perishable food, is a very highly perishable food. But when you see in the market, we can see packet milks everywhere. Amul, different mother dairy, different company brands are coming. How they are preserving this food? Since milk is a highly perishable food, this milk is protected by a process known as pasteurization. Means why the term is given as pasteurization, because this particular technique was developed by Louis Pasteur. And what is the reason behind this development of this technique was, in the time of Louis Pasteur, there was one big that was their wine. So they found out that whenever the wine bottle is opened for a long period of time, wine is getting spoiled by the action of microorganism. So Louis Pasteur made a technique. Made a technique means he, from his basic understanding, he made a procedure. That particular procedure is known as pasteurization. And what they do inside this pasteurization means, whenever they collect the milk from the farmers, before they go for the packing section in the companies, when they take, what they will do is, they will collect all the milk together. They will homogenize it. That means whatever they need, they will add any potassium, calcium, anything extra is required. They will add after testing in the laboratory. Then what they will do is, they will suddenly heat this milk for 70 degrees Celsius for 10 to 15 minutes. This will change according to the food material. Timing will change according to the food material. And the temperature also will change, slightly different, slight variation. But the most recommended procedure is, suddenly they will heat for 70 degrees Celsius to 10 to 15 minutes. Same way, very sudden, they will reduce the temperature somewhere around 10 to 5 degrees Celsius. So when this sudden change in the temperature is coming, microorganisms can't survive, because microorganisms need a stable temperature. 25 means there should be 25 for a longer period of time. If it should be moisture for the growth of fungus, they need moisture for a longer period of time. Since they do this, they are protecting milk. And apart from this, nowadays we are having tetra packing. That means 4-coated packing is coming, inside which milk is protected. And the most common affordable thing for almost all the liquid, the process is pasteurization. After doing the treatment, all this treatment, according to the food, according to the area, according to the nutrient content, all the things will vary according to our need. Then that food will be packed properly, that means in an airtight container, and they will be stored. And in storing also, all the foods are not stored in the same way. Some food need cool chill area, some needs hot, some needs normal. So it may, maximum times when we see this bread and all, they don't want a chilled or much hotter, they need only a calm, that means a mild temperature, 25 to 28 degrees Celsius or 30 degrees Celsius, that's sufficient. But whenever it is milk, even though after pasteurization, it, in order to maintain the nutrients properly, they say that you have to keep the milk at a particular temperature, that is 5 degrees Celsius, 10 degrees Celsius, according to the temperature of the particular place. So by using all this condition, they are transporting, they are exporting food from one place to another. We can see that we have milk vans that is coming from Gujarat to Delhi, and from Delhi to Gujarat, from South India to North India, North India to South India, East to West, it is going. All of them are occupied with chillers, so that the content of the milk will be preserved until they reach the final destination. So these are the main methods what they are using for food preservation, so that we can use this food for a longer period of time. And by using the salt and sugar, even the Romans also had made many of the food materials. For example, ham, Venetian ham like that. They have protected, they have added salt over it and protected the particular piece of pig's leg. Ham is taken from pig's leg for a long period of time and they have used it. So we have a lot of records by which we can protect the food from the spoiling of microorganism.